The world is constantly changing, we gotta keep up. To all the parents and everyone, time to speak up. We cannot be silent, it's time that we start a movement. Cause if you don't know your rights, then you won't know if you lose them. Yeah, ParentalRights.us. Don't matter your affiliation, you gotta speak up. Non-biased website, check it out, you can tell. Get the facts, cause common sense, it will always prevail. Yeah, ParentalRights.us. Hey, ParentalRights.us. Check it out now.
For believers, the battle with the devil comes in many forms, and it's waged on many front lines.
Every single one of these people is automatically deemed invalid and incapable. Think about that. Your parental rights are taken away from you just because a guardian ad litem is assigned to your case.
Before the break, Mr. Roser was talking about the family. And Mr. Bowers, you were saying something back in 1992. You were at this meeting. Could you tell our listening audience a little bit about what you heard about the family at this meeting that you were at?
Well, they just thought the traditional family was going to try to replace government and their influence. And so they said, we need to get children away into government programs at the earliest age possible. That's one of the things they were fighting for. They also just said anything we can do to help get women out of the home and working so those children will be available for us to influence in the school system, the better. They wanted to do that. And like the goals from 1958 as well, that was one of their main things. They wanted to break down the family.
Think about that for a minute. You work all your life to put money away for your child for a college, and in an instant, that money's taken from you, or you're going to be thrown in jail. How would you feel? How would you feel? This is happening every single day in our family court system. We saw it happen just last week with court watchers.
We are now seeing quite blatantly the movement to remove children from their parents. It's been done through what I call the totalitarian tiptoe, step by step by step by step, where more and more parental rights are taken by the state, more and more and more, and where the school becomes ever more powerful in the control it has over the children. And now we're moving into areas that we have, staggeringly extreme as they may seem, they're no longer rare. This is commonplace.
If you really want your eyes open, walk into a family courthouse any day of the week, just plain clothes, and sit and listen for 2 hours, your head will explode. You won't believe what you're hearing. Attorneys that are in the system that have signed this petition, we just can't believe what we're seeing happening. It's a complete denial of due process, complete denial of civil rights. What we've seen happen in the family court would not be tolerated in any other court of law in this state. Why does it allow it to happen?
The greatest lie he's ever told was convincing people he doesn't exist. And you know, you see people that think that he's like red, he's got a goatee and a ponytail and stuff like that. He doesn't. He's very beautiful. He's an angel. Why would he look like some monster? He's capable of looking just like you. He could be in this room right now. We wouldn't know it.
That's a scary thought.
It's a very scary thought.
When a guardian ad litem is assigned to your case, you get nothing. You get blindsided. You just automatically have a guardian ad litem assigned to your case, and from that very moment, from a legal perspective in the state of Connecticut, and there's case law that says this, the guardian ad litem trumps your right to be a parent. They can actually make medical decisions for you. They can make educational decisions for you. You are no longer the parent of that child. That is absolutely wrong.
The father out.
That's right.
The women couldn't get the welfare money if there was a man living in the home.
Exactly.
So the guy's left in order to have the money go in there.
And then you have generational cycles of that, because then the kids haven't seen the dad in the home, so that's normal to them, and it just keeps going, and it's been so destructive.
It's perpetrating through generations and generations.
It's so wrong what has happened because of that.
I also want to hear about our children a little bit and our education system. We have about 40 seconds before we go to break. Can you talk a little bit about our education system with the National Education Association?
Sure. Well, every person that's wanted power knows if you can get to the young people, you have everything. You just simply have to wait for them to grow up into positions of power. So the educational system was something they started to penetrate. Many different people and groups of the left back in the 60s, really trying to move things to the left. and they have been very successful at doing that. There's many things specifically I could mention that the NEA, which is the National Education Association, has done to expose how radical they really are. I don't know if you have time right now before the break for that, or...
Well, you know what, we're going to go to break, but I know Jack has an article from 1992
Yes.
stating that the NEA
93, yeah.
is really the National Extortion Association. We're going to hear more about that when we come back after the break.
But if you look back and take a snapshot of the 1960s and what the family social norms were then, and then take a snapshot of what it's like today, they've been very, very successful.
Where are you going? I want to see if anybody's yelling.
Open it and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling.
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take this anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm mad as hell! I am mad as hell! I'm mad as hell! I'm mad as hell that I'm not going to take this! I am mad as hell! I'm not gonna take this anymore!
This is a divine class warning on global broadcast.